It began gradually. Days grew a little longer, sunsets lingered, and shadows stretched farther than they should. Most people didn't notice, at first, but scientists did. Instruments across the globe registered a slight slowing of the Earth's rotation. It wasn't much, but it was enough to set off alarms. By the time the news broke, it was already too late. The Earth's rotation was slowing faster than anyone had predicted, and the consequences were catastrophic. Imagine waking up in a world where the day doesn't end. The sun hangs motionless in the sky, baking half the planet in scorching, unrelenting heat. Temperatures soar past 120 degrees, water evaporates, and crops wither. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, an endless night plunges cities into freezing darkness. Ice forms on buildings, and power grids strain to keep up with the demand for heat. Did you know that the Earth's rotation is what keeps its shape? Without it, the oceans begin to migrate. Water rushes toward the poles, flooding regions like Canada and Russia, while the equator becomes an arid wasteland. Coastal cities, New York, Tokyo, Rio de Janeiro, are swallowed whole by the rising tides. For the average family, survival becomes a daily struggle. In North America, extended families huddle together, pooling resources to stay alive. Imagine trying to explain to your kids why the sun hasn't moved in weeks, or why their favorite foods are now impossible to find. Supermarket shelves are empty, roads are blocked with abandoned cars, and communication networks fail as satellites fall from orbit. Wildlife is thrown into chaos. Birds migrate in circles, confused by the unchanging sky. Insects swarm where they shouldn't, spreading disease to areas unprepared for them. Entire ecosystems collapse as plants and animals fail to adapt to the new extremes. Did you know the atmosphere is tied to the Earth's rotation? Without it, wind patterns go haywire. Storms grow larger and more violent, whipping across continents with destructive force. Tornadoes tear through cities that have never seen them before. Hurricanes linger for weeks, devastating entire regions. As weeks turn into months, society breaks down. Governments enforce martial law in an attempt to restore order, but supplies run out faster than they can be replenished. People fight over water, over food, over warmth. Some families attempt to migrate, chasing the narrow band of twilight that now circles the globe where temperatures are survivable. But even that becomes impossible as infrastructure crumbles. Eventually, the Earth stops spinning altogether. Half the planet becomes a frozen wasteland, while the other half is a blistering desert. Humanity retreats to underground shelters or migrates to the twilight zone, building a fragile existence on the edges of an unrecognizable world. The day Earth stopped spinning wasn't the end of humanity, but it was the end of everything we took for granted. A stark reminder that even the smallest changes in nature's balance can topple the mightiest of civilizations.